All right, next up we've got Jin Yu Frey against Victoria Dudakova, and we have seen probably the biggest swelling of a favorite of any in this fight. And Dudakova opened up at minus 275. She's now up to minus 565. So a gigantic favorite, and there's some reasons why. Jin Yu Frey is 11-9, which you'll find some female fighters with a record like that doesn't look as sexy as some of the male fighters, because a lot of the time that there's female fighters coming to the UFC, they'll come into the UFC with 3-4 fights, and once you get in, it's you might go 2-2, 3-3, but so you'll end up having sort of a stinky record. But Frey in her case is just 2-5 in the UFC. She just continues to struggle, and it's not like in that previous fight with Bruno Silva where he faced good competition. I hate to say it, I don't want to continue to bag on her, but 3-fight losing streak coming into this, and granted, she should have beat Vanessa Demopoulos. She lost that via split decision, and Polyana Viana and Elise Reed are decent fighters, but she also lost to Kay Hansen and Loma Lookbomy, who Kay Hansen's not in the UFC anymore. I'm pretty sure she's on OnlyFans doing her thing there, which power to you. Make your money how you make your money. But her only wins are against Ashley Yoder and Gloria DePaula, two very below average fighters. And so this feels like a fight where the UFC is trying to get Dudakova a win, get her on the map on a big card, and get people excited about her. And there's reason why. She's 7-0, 1-0 in her UFC, but granted, that UFC fight was not really much of a contest. She immediately threw Estela Nunez on her head, and it ended up breaking her arm in the process, and it was disgusting. If you watched that card, or if you didn't, you should go back and see it if you like gruesome injuries, because it was as bad as they get. But so she won that in 30 seconds, and her Dana White's Contender Series fight before that, she came back from adversity. She had a knee injury early in that fight and really used her wrestling to be able to get her that victory over 3 rounds. But and that's really the story of Dudakova is she uses that wrestling all the time, and it is a dominant physical force. She's gigantic for the division, and really her striking is continuing to evolve, almost like Islam Makhachev. I'm not comparing her in any way to Islam Makhachev, but stylistically, in that her wrestling is quote unquote so elite, but her striking is a work in progress from the very beginning. And it's improving, but her wrestling as a whole is not the best. I know that that's her best quality, but she mainly utilizes her strength and just ability to scramble when she's on the mat to get in those good positions. Because her wrestling form just really isn't great. She goes for double legs, but really uses all of her weight to pick up, and really doesn't do a good job of finding the angle to drop her opponent and really be able to keep her down there. She can, but again, she's typically using way too much strength instead of using her form to be able to get it there. And against Jin Yu Frey, she will probably be able to get away with that. But against better fighters in the divisions, I struggle to think that she'll be able to, especially with that subpar striking, to not be able to set it up. But I think that she's got a really good chance to victory here, just especially because Jin Yu Frey sees her most success against fighters who really can't grapple or can't stop takedowns. And so she's not going to be able to do that in this fight. And Dudakova should be able to win pretty cleanly. But I think that there's value in Frey because I don't trust Dudakova's form and I don't trust her striking. So at such a high underdog that I think you've got a lot of value in Jin Yu Frey at plus 450. Andy, what do you think?
For me, and I'll give it quick here. I don't have a ton on this fight, to be honest with you, because I think it's going to be that one-sided. I don't even think that we need to be putting anything on Jin Yu Frey personally. I think that Dudakova is going to whip her ass. I think that this is going to be what we see as the tail end of Jin Yu Frey's run in the UFC. I mean, her resume is not great, and I don't mean to be rude about it because you already belabored it, but I mean, the names that she has gone up against, some of them aren't even in the promotion anymore. So for me, this is just one where they're going to try to get even more hype built around a really exciting Russian women's prospect and start to build her up in what will be a pretty watched beginning prelim sequence for this pay-per-view card. I don't want anything to do with Jin Yu Frey, betting on her, and wish her all the best when she's out of the UFC, to be honest with you. That's all I have on that one. I don't really have to play at all, but I won't be telling you either.
Well, my last point. I know we just had that the horn buzz, but is Dana after her Dana White's Contender Series fight said that he hated the fight. He thought it was a terrible fight, but he said since she had the knee injury, he was like, oh well, she has everything that she can. She has all the tools needed to be a world champion, which was high praise.
Yeah.
But wrestling and I guess overcoming the injury was enough for him. But that's so. I'm on Frey. Andy's on Dudakova. I don't like it. Maybe in the future we can fade Dudakova, but let's head into next fight, which is a much higher level of competition.